Hello and welcome to the English Listen Lab. Today, we follow a chilling and mysterious story. Have you ever received a phone call from someone who shouldn't be able to call you? Someone who is no longer alive? What if that call came with a warning? Would you listen? Or would your curiosity take over? That's exactly what happened to Emily Carter. 5 years ago, her mother passed away. Her childhood home was abandoned, locked away with memories she never wanted to revisit. But one evening, as she sat alone in her apartment, her phone rang. The screen lit up. Mom calling. Emily's heart stopped. It had to be a mistake. Her mother's number had been disconnected years ago, yet there it was, calling her as if nothing had changed. She hesitated. Her fingers trembled. Was this a cruel prank, a glitch, or something far worse? Finally, she answered. Static crackled through the line. Then, a voice she knew. Emily, don't go back to the old house. You don't know the truth. And then, silence. No trace of the call in her history. No way to call back. Emily's blood ran cold. Who had just spoken to her? And what truth was she not supposed to know? Let's find out in The Call That Shouldn't Exist. The house loomed before her, its windows like hollow eyes staring back. The air was thick, suffocating, as if the house itself was waiting. She stepped forward, and then she froze. The porch light was on. That light hadn't worked in years. No one had lived here since her mother died. But there it was, flickering against the darkness. And the front door was slightly open, as if someone had been expecting her. Her breath hitched. She hesitated for only a moment before stepping inside. The air was stale, thick with dust and the weight of forgotten memories. Everything was exactly as they had left it, except for one thing. A chair sitting right in the middle of the living room, and on it, a photo album. Emily's hands trembled as she picked it up. She flipped through the pages, her chest tightening with each turn. Familiar childhood moments, birthday parties, vacations. Then, she stopped. Her breath caught. A picture she didn't remember. There she was, sitting at the dinner table, with a woman. But it wasn't her mother. Emily frowned. Who was this? The woman's face was blurred, almost smudged, as if she didn't belong there. She turned to the final page. A photo of her mother, sitting in the exact same chair, now in the center of the room. And behind the photo, a note, written in shaky, rushed handwriting. She was never supposed to find you. A loud thud upstairs made Emily drop the album. Her stomach turned to ice. She wasn't alone. Her mother's voice echoed in her head. Don't go back. But she had already come too far. She had to know. She climbed the stairs, every creak beneath her feet, screaming at her to turn back. The hallway stretched before her, lined with doors she had known all her life. But at the end, there was a door she didn't recognize, a door that shouldn't be there. Her breath came in short gasps as she reached for the handle. It was ice cold. She turned it. The door swung open, revealing a mirror. Emily's breath caught in her throat. The room was empty, just 4 blank walls, and that massive mirror, standing tall in the center. But something was wrong. Her reflection wasn't right. The woman staring back at her was smiling. Emily wasn't. Then the reflection stepped forward. Emily hadn't moved. Finally, the reflection whispered, you came back. Emily turned to run, but the door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed the room. A cold breath brushed against her neck. You were never supposed to leave. The mirror cracked, and then everything went black. Emily woke up in her apartment, gasping for air. Sunlight streamed through the window. Her heart pounded as she looked around. Everything was normal. Her books, her plants, her untouched cup of coffee from the night before. Had it all been a nightmare? She grabbed her phone. No missed calls. No strange numbers. She exhaled, rubbing her temples. Maybe it was stress, exhaustion, her mind playing tricks on her. Then, as she stood, she noticed something on her desk, a photo album. Her hands shook as she reached for it. She flipped it open. The same pictures, the same woman standing behind her in every single one. Then her phone rang. The screen lit up. Mom calling. Emily's breath caught. A whisper filled the room before she even picked up. You shouldn't have come back. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another thrilling episode. Tell us in the comments, would you have answered the call, or would you have ignored it? Let's discuss below.